ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यामनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपदान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेशा गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी ऋषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुकुं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्. Wonderful, dear devotees. Thank you, Shrikant Prabhu, for joining. Thank you, Mamita Mataji, for joining. So, today we are starting verse 18. I hope you all are able to see my screen. Before we start, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
देवाय
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ॐ
ॐ
नमो
नमो
भगवते
भगवते वासुदेवाय
वासुदेवाय।
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ॐ नमो भगवते
भगवते
वासुदेवाय।
Beautiful. So we are on chapter 3, which is entitled as Karma Yoga, and the section we are on is specifically talking about Kama Karma Yoga, which means not expecting anything for ourselves. So with that, Tasmat Asakta Satatam
तस्माद्
तस्मात् असक्तसततां
सततं
Karyam Karma Samachara
कार्यं
कार्यां
कर्म
कर्म
समाचर
समाचर।
Asakto Hi Acharan Karma
असक्तो
असक्तो
हि
हि
अचरन्
आचरन्
कर्म
कर्म
Param Apnoti Purushaha.
परम्
परम्
आप्नोति
आप्नोति
पुरुषः।
पुरुषः
Any volunteer for translation?
Sure. Therefore, without being attached to the fruits of activities, one should act as a matter of duty, for by working without attachment, one attains the supreme.
Very nice. Thank you for reading this. So, like I spoke in the beginning, that we are on the section of Nishkama Karma Yoga. And here, when we talk about activity, we are specifically talking about spiritual activities, of course, material activities as well. But anything to set up an example, that's what we have been talking about. The yesterday we were talking about verse 17 and 18, which we covered. In this connection, there is a connection between these verses, so I just wanted to cover that piece. Why a self-realized soul works, which is going to come in 20 and 21. We will see an example about Janak Maharaj, and in this verse how he works is what is being described. What is being described, the worker here works with detachment from the fruits. The whole world is revolving around what is in it for me, what am I going to get out of it. So the whole idea here we are talking about, one has to be detached from the results of the work. Now one may say, then why should I perform the duty? one should perform the duty under the proper guidance for, and it should be done for Krishna. Now, who should provide the guidance? There are three important personalities, or there are three important um, guiding factor. One is Guru, which is a spiritual master; Sadhu, who may be other leaders or others, spiritualists. So Guru, Sadhu, and the last one is Shastra, which are scriptures. So this is what you should be used as the compass for every activity in the material world or in spiritual world. 3.19 also talking about what is the benefit of such work. One attains the supreme. One may say, why attain the supreme? Well, welcome to the world of material world. We see so much cold, my goodness. It just, even just stepping out, just went for morning program this morning. It's just even getting into a car without the hand gloves. The hands were freezed, just being there for a minute. So that is unfortunate thing. We have to get out of this miserable world of material world. But again, this is not the path of escapism which I'm referring to. But why not live with someone who just loves from the core of his heart, and just being with him, being with his associates in the spiritual world, where we don't have to struggle for existence. And that is the point which is being spoken. And there are two examples which we lead in 20 and 24. We will see Janak Maharaj, and we will also see from the example of Krishna as the householder. Right? So if I go back here, this is 3.18, which we already covered. I'm not going to cover that. Now, when we come to text 19, what we are talking about is, you see on the top, when one is acting as a matter of duty without being attached to the fruits, right? So one has to do is a nishkama karma yoga. So there are two paths which is very important under proper guidance. There are 2 points here, which is under proper guidance. So you attain perfection, and you do it as a matter of duty, even if you are liberated, even if one is completely out of the cycle of birth and death, but just trying to finish up his tenure in material world. One is acting as a matter of duty, not that, oh, now I'm a spiritualist, I don't have to do any of that activity. That's not the point. So here in the section, what you see is no need of performing Vedic ritual which are done for purification of impious activities done due to sense gratification. So one does not have to perform the Vedic ritual which we have been talking about in the beginning of this chapter, which is pleasing devatas, pleasing demigods, for their share. And then what is the result when you perform this Nishkama Karma Yoga? You attain the supreme. First and foremost thing, as a devotee, you go back to Krishna, or if you don't see Krishna as a person, you will become an impersonalist, which is basically you enter into Brahman Jyoti, which is not recommended. And when you act only, what are the three things which you have to do? You have to act only on behalf of Krishna. Everything in this world, I am a caretaker. That is the attitude one should have. Whether I have a house, whether I have a car, whether I have a family, they are not mine. I am a caretaker, which is a very important thing, because that keeps you detached, and there should not be any attachment for the results, and engage in all kinds of activities but completely unattached, what we talk about. And what is the result of that? First thing is you definitely achieve perfection, but the other thing is you don't incur any reactionary work. You don't have good or bad results, or good or evil work. And that is what the concept of akarma is. Any questions or comments so far? Okay, no questions here. So what we see here, to, and you're still seeing my PowerPoint, is that right? Yeah, yeah. Okay. So devotee is making, Prabhupada is writing in the purport, devotee is making progress because one acts for Krishna. For an example, Arjuna. To be a good man or non-violent man is a personal attachment. He is thinking, I don't want to fight. And if you see from mundane perspective, yes, fighting is not good, killing is not good. But here it's important, because the adharma, if it is spread, that will create a much more chaotic situation. And that is what is being spoken. But he is now acting on behalf of Krishna. Though apparently it looks like he is killing, which is not recommended, but because this is to remove a dharma and set up dharma, and that is what now he is doing without attachment, and that is the perfect action of a highest degree recommended by supreme personality of godhead. Again, Krishna will not engage us in any of the fight to actually kill people, but Krishna is of course guiding us. There are these enemies hidden within our heart, within ourselves, which are these six anarthas or six unwanted things: kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mat, matsarya. And that is what is an important aspect to actually be liberated, to get away with those unwanted things. And secondly, he's saying action in Krishna consciousness is beyond good and evil, which we saw as akarma. That any Vedic ritual which you are doing, they are done for purification. But when you do any action for Krishna consciousness, it is above the purification stage. It is transcendental. That's why you do not get the pious or impious results out of that one. And here there are examples given from 18.65, which is going to come way later, but it is talking about, it just says, Man manabhava madbhakto madhya jiva namaskuru. That surrender your mind unto me, and that is what is Krishna is talking about. Any questions or comments before we move to next verse? Hare Krishna.
No, Prabhu.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, please keep talking so that I know the connectivity is working and I'm not talking to walls. Thank you. So now we are reading text 20. Please follow behind me. Karmanaiva hi samsiddhim
Karmanaiva hi samsiddhim
astita janakadayaha
Astita
astata
Janakadayaha
janakavayaha
lokasangram evapi
Lokasangram Evapi
lokasangram
sampashyan kartumarhasi.
samvasyakartamam
Arhasi.
ayasi.
Any volunteer for translation? I haven't put the translation here, but any volunteers?
I can read.
Please.
Kings such as Janaka attained perfection solely by performance of prescribed duties. Therefore, just for the sake of educating the people in general, you should perform your work.
Wonderful. Thank you for reading this. So, here the examples are given because unfortunately, when a theory is put in across, even when you see from scientific perspective, there is a theory and there is an application, or there are examples. Like, for an example, if two particles of hydrogen and one particle of oxygen is mixed, it forms water. So, you go to laboratory and you perform that, and someone proved it out, and you see the results. Now, this is where we are taking an example about Janak Maharaj, who is none other than the father of Mother Sita. She is the consort of Lord Ram, who is the supreme personality of Godhead, and she is the supreme energy of the Lord. So, here Janak Maharaj himself, what is he portraying? He is portraying through his example. And what is Janak Maharaj is? He has no obligation for Vedic prescribed duties, but because he was a self-realized soul. However, he is doing it as a matter of duty. Why still he performed his prescribed duty? Like I said, just to set an example, he was a king of Mithila. He had to teach his subjects how to perform prescribed duties. Another example which Srila Prabhupada is saying, that to emphasize the need of prescribed duty, Krishna and Arjuna fought on battlefield to teach people in general that violence is necessary where good argument fail. So not that they just directly went into the fight, they tried every way to actually not this fight to occur, but it still happened. The D, which is saying how experienced person in Krishna consciousness act. Very important. Without any interest in the world, still works to teach the public how to live and how to act. Experienced person act in such a way that others will follow. Other than Janak Maharaj, there is a beautiful example about Yudhishthir Maharaj. When you see example of Yudhishthir Maharaj, what is his caliber? Yudhishthir Maharaj, when he was ruling the kingdom after the Mahabharat war got over, the Prithvi, the Bhumi, the earth was producing so much vegetation and grains that there was no scarcity in the kingdom altogether. The cows will give abundant milk. You don't have to actually, people do not have to really put water into the plants. The cows will give their milk actually to give what, like as a water to the plants. Everything was so well taken care of. Why is that? Very important. I just gave a class last week in the temple, which was specifically talking about what is the quality of a king. The quality of king is, in a way, it is said based on the scripture, if it rains in the day, not in the night, which means the king is impious. If people are dying at the young age, which means the king is impious. And today such a chaotic situation. Nobody got sick in Yudhishthir Maharaj's kingdom. And there is so much chaotic situation in this today. Just because these examples, this the actual devotional service which is in the mode of Nishkama Karma Yoga is not being followed. Supraja Mata, you wanted to add something?
I was just gonna say that with the example of Janak Maharaj,
Please.
I think it's the same Yata Raja Tata Praja, right? So
Ah, yes.
being in that leadership role, you got to set an example so that people will follow the right path. And once you are indulge in that public service, you do good, so everything, the consequences turns out positive and in good results.
Ve- Very beautiful. Yatha Raja Tatha Praja. Very, very well quoted. This is very important. And when we think about the leader, king is none other than leader. So there are three leaders. King is, of course, government leader is also on the similar plane in today's world. And the second one, which is spoken about, a parent. And third one is a teacher. So all three have the same responsibility. The example they set, the common people will follow on that. Very wonderfully said. Any other comment before we move to 21?
I didn't understand why the Yudhishthira Maharaj kingdom was so abundant. Like, what was the reason? I didn't get that.
Yes, yes. Sorry, I didn't do a good job because he was actually so devoted to following the path of Nishkama Karma Yoga. He was doing everything for pleasure of Krishna, and that is how everything was automatically manifesting. The Prithvi was producing abundant grains, and that is very important quality. Same way, like we say, jaisa ann vaisa man, the type of food you eat, that kind of consciousness you develop. Same way, where is this grain coming from? If the people are dependent on the Lord and his energies and try to respect material nature, realizing we are part and parcel of God and we are supposed to live in harmony in connection with nature, then the nature also lives in harmony with people. And that is what Yudhishthir Maharaj was doing.
Okay,
Does it make
thanks.
sense, Nitya Mataji?
Yeah, yeah, thanks.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you. Keep asking questions. Now, Supraja Mataji was ahead in the game, and this is what the verse is actually. Yatha Raja. Yad yad acharati sreshtas,
Yet
Yat yat
acharati
acharati
shrestha,
shreshtas
tat tat eva taro janaha,
tat
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 eva
eva
taro
taro
janaha,
janaha
sayat pramanam kurute,
sayat
sayat
pramanam
pramanam
kurute,
kurute
lokastad anuvartate.
lokastad
lokasthat
anuvartate.
anuvartate.
Any volunteer for translation?
I can read.
Go ahead.
Whatever action a great man performs, common man follow. And whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues.
Very important words, quoted multiple times, that one has to be an example. Yad yad acharati sreshtas. Whatever sreshta means the leaders, whatever steps they do, the people will follow. And that is a very important responsibility. When we wear such tilak, what does it mean? That I am an example. And I was just sharing, I don't know if I shared, when I went to India, I had some work in the bank, and I had my bead bag in my hand because it's better wherever we are. It takes time, and then you chant until then. So I was carrying the bead bag. So when I entered the bank, it was a huge line, and there was a watchman there. He came to me and he said, Hare Krishna. I'm like, okay, great, Hare Krishna. He said, Prabhu, which temple you are from? I'm like, I'm from Pune. I didn't tell him anything about US and all that stuff. It just confuses people. So I'm like, yeah, I'm from Pune. He said, yeah, which temple you go? And I said, NVC. He said, oh, I go to this temple. I'm like, great. He said, I go and attend Bhagavad Gita classes. Wow, fantastic, great. He said, I'll help you. What is the problem? I'll problem statement. He went, gave me a shortcut, and then that work is done. Another place I went, I had some FD stuck and all that stuff. So I went to Axis Bank there, and there was no appointment. I just directly walked in there, and when I went in there, the manager came, and manager came. First thing which he said is Hare Krishna. I'm like, really? Okay. I said Hare Krishna. He said, my uncle follows this process. And then we were just talking about it. And then he said, how can I help you? And then I said the problem statement and all that stuff. He helped me, and then the problem was resolved. But what does it mean? Not that we get the credit of what we are not eligible for, which is wearing a tilak or holding a bead bag, but being an example for others to follow. If I carry a bead bag and if I give a left and right to someone, what examples do I am setting? So when someone accept the path of devotional service, they become perfect gentlemen and perfect gentlewomen in every dealings. If they make a mistake, then other people actually take it in a different way, and which breaks their faith. So in text 20, and we will also see in 21, that example of King Janaka, people in general follows leader. What we see, he has no duties to perform. Sorry, first King Janaka. He is a self-realized soul. He has no duties to perform, which is on the left. And then he is acting without any interest in the world, because he realizes the more I am working in this world, it is going to bind me, but I cannot go to the forest. So I will perform whatever activity is there for my purification and for setting up an example. He still works to teach people in general how to live and act, perform prescribed duties, and act in such a way that people will follow, set an example. So one becomes an acharya, which is what is coming from text 21. Lord Chaitanya, who's none other than Krishna, he came, he is an acharya, he's Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But he teaches by personal behavior. He was sannyasi. Sannyasi means he has no relationship with worldly people. So there was a king. His name is King Prataparudra. He was the king of Orissa. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was living in Orissa in Jagannath Puri after sannyas. So this king was really, really spiritual, and he wanted to take the audience of Lord Chaitanya. But Lord Chaitanya said, I cannot associate with kingly people because people will misunderstand me. Today, what happens is that when one becomes sannyasi or one becomes higher position, then people come to offer services. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? That is not the right attitude, actually. We are the servant. That's the mood one has to have as a leader. That's why there is so much emphasis which is giving on servant leadership. Where did it come from? You be an example. How to teach your this to teach your followers, which is a very important. One leads by example, not by philosophy. So here, when we see Lord Chaitanya's example, he was teaching by his personal behavior. He was following the injunction of scriptures for humanity, Manu Samhita and others, and teaches on the basis of Shastras, which is scriptures. And what are the natural leaders I already covered, which is king or executive head, father, and school teacher, who have dependents. So they help dependent to progress on spiritual path. Like my son, just very off honest here. I would say, don't touch your phone while you're chanting. He said, Dad, you also do it. Hare Krishna. Mukunda, can you help me? When you see me next time that I am, while chanting, I'm touching the phone, can you remind me? Because what kids will follow, what we set an example for. I am eating pizza, pizza and pasta entire day, and I'm telling my kids, no, eat healthy food. So there was a drunkard. He had two sons. So this person drank so much he died. So now these two sons were left. So someone asked the first son, "Will you drink?" He says, "Of course. My father drank. I'll follow my father." The second son was asked, "Will you drink?" He said, "Of course not. I saw what was the result of my father drinking. What is an outcome?" So there are such souls very rare who actually understand what the other person goes through so that I will not do it. But most of the praja, most of the followers, they want to follow the leaders whatever they do. And that's why when people do not have a right role model, it actually brings really it brings a society down. Like when I was small, we had so many Bollywood actors, of course now also there, but I'm not connected. So many Bollywood actors, Hollywood I did not know at the time. So and then we would see this hero, wow, such a great acting he did, and they become a role model. And they start smoking cigarette, they start drinking wine. Oh, I will also drink because he's my role model, I will follow that. So they go to hell, and the followers also go to hell. Hare Krishna. So much child abuse. Why? My goodness, I never heard that concept when I was a small called as child abuse. There were so many top class Bollywood actors and actresses, especially actors, who were actually caught up into these things of child abuse. Hare Krishna, and they are role model for people. And that is a pathetic situation of this world. Any questions or comments so far?
I was thinking the example you gave about the father, the same example gave two different inspirations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of the time people follow the first one. My father did, I'll also did. But there are certain intellectuals who learn by experience, seeing someone suffer. I don't want to do it. And that's why a leader has to be an example, because second son, the example I gave, very rare where people understand by that.
Yeah.
Makes sense, Nitya Mataji, yeah?
Yeah.
So here what we see is how the self-realized work. This is in connection with 19 to 21. Why self-realized soul work? To set an example for general mass of people. And how self-realized soul work, which is 3.19, we covered three aspects: with detachment from fruits, the result of work, as a matter of duty, under proper guidance, and to please Krishna, which we covered before. And what is the benefit of such work? One attains supreme. So this is how these three verses are connected. Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, one has to have a practical behavior. If a leader gives left and right to his subordinates, he loses the faith, he loses the loses the he himself loses the respect from others, because others see how he is behaving. A leader cannot teach the public to stop smoking if he himself smokes. Lord Chaitanya Lord Chaitanya said that a teacher should behave properly before he begins teaching. One who teaches in that way is called Acharya or ideal teacher. So one is by practical behavior, second is by following Shastras. The teacher cannot manufacture rules against the principle of revealed scriptures. For example, Manu Samhita is all about the moral conducts. And Bhakti Vinod VB scripture pranam mentioned whatever scripture the um, superior person considers in performing his action, the lower persons will follow that. We spoke about that. Ramanujacharya also says that therefore best action authorized by scripture should be performed by inferior person during desiring auspiciousness. And third one is to have a great responsibility. All such natural leaders have a great responsibility to their dependents, therefore they must be conversant with standard books of moral and spiritual codes. It's an unfortunate situation today. The leaders who do not know scriptures, if they lead based on their own monolithic idea, it will create a big chaotic society versus someone who knows the purpose behind what is what. Whimsical action done by a superior is rejected if not approved by scripture. So, what should subordinate do? Follow the Guru Sadhu Shastra, follow Srimad Bhagavad, performs that one should follow in the footsteps of great devotees. Any questions or comments?
No.
Okay. Supraja Mataji, you are able to Duraswami. Prabhu, I know you just got disconnected. Any questions or comments so far?
Sorry for that. Actually, we were trying to do the zooming out to see the screen and it got kicked out.
I'm sorry, sorry. This is, yeah, it's not very easy experience to be on that, but maybe I'll work on next time to have these fonts little bigger.
No, no problem. We are good. Thank you.
Okay, let's read verse 22. Name parthasti kartavyam
Name
Name
मे
partasi
partha
kavyam
पार्थक्तव्यं
trishu lokeshu kinchana
trishu
त्रिषु
Trishu
lokesh
लोकेषु
Lokeshu Kinchana
किञ्चन
nanavaptam avaptavyam
Nanavapti
नानवाप्तम्
Avatyayam
अवक्तव्यं
nanavaptam
varta eva cha karmani.
वर्ता
Varta
Varta
एव च
Eva
eva
Karmani.
कर्मणि
karmane.
Any volunteer for translation?
Okay. O son of Partha, there is no work prescribed for me within all the three planetary systems, nor am I in want of anything, nor have I a need to obtain anything, and yet I am engaged in prescribed duties.
Wow, beautiful example. Krishna says there is no work assigned to me. Are I am supreme personality of Godhead. Why do I have to work? Right? Here, even the CEO of the company has to work. The executive director, executive VPs, they have to work. But he is the CEOs of all CEOs. He doesn't have to work. But he does it to set up an example. There is a beautiful chapter in a book called as Krishna book, which is talking about Krishna and his pastimes. It is said what is daily duty of Krishna, what time he wakes up, what all activities he does throughout the day. Very wonderful example. People don't read that. People are interested. Are why did Krishna marry 16,100 wife? You see other example. What is he doing daily? What time are you waking up? Krishna would wake up before sunrise every day and perform his spiritual duties along with material duties. Don't be selective when it comes to this. Take one example. Krishna lifted Govardhan. Can you do that? No. Then why are you asking such questions? So Krishna is setting up an example here. Right? So when we see here, Lord Krishna descended to establish the principle of religion. So he followed the prescribed rule. Ramanujacharya Srila Prabhupada is saying, if Krishna doesn't follow this part, ordinary people will want to follow him. And in place of winning the self, they would go to hell because they would say Krishna did it. Krishna doesn't want to create a wrong followism. Krishna was performing all religious duties in and out of his home as required of a householder. Let's read text 23. These verses are combined. We will read the meaning on that one. So let's read text 23. Yadi hi aham na varteyam
Yadihinna
अहं न
aham
वर्तेयं
varteyam
jatu karmani atendritaha
न
jatu
तु कर्मणि
karmani atindriha
अतीन्द्रियः
mama vartmanuvartante
mama
मम
vartmanuvantante
वर्तमानुवर्तन्ते
manushya partha sarvasaha.
manushya
मनुष्यपाता
partha
सर्वसः
sarvasaha.
Volunteer for translation, please.
I can, Prabhu.
Please.
For if I ever fail to engage in carefully performing prescribed duties, O Partha, certainly all men would follow my path.
Even a single mistake, if I perform, the people will start following me, and I don't want to set up a wrong example, which is what Krishna is showcasing with himself. Read text 34, sorry, 24. Utsideyur ime loka
Utsiteyur ime
loka
loka
na kuryam karma ched aham
kuryam
nakuryam
karma
karma
chet aham
chetaham
S- sankarasya cha kartasyam
Sankarasya
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 cha
chakartasyam
kartasyam
upahanyam ima prajaha.
upanyam
upahamani ima
imatra prajaha.
prajaha.
So what we see in example, if I do not follow that path, my children will become Varna Sankara. You see an example on the left. A mother from Chicago hides her face in shame as she is forced to sell her children to avoid being evicted. If you can't take the responsibility of kid, then don't have kids. Understand what it is actually being a parent, being a leader. Very important. And this is what Srila Prabhupada actually writes, that Lord is the supreme personality of Godhead. His body is not material, but he is performing that duty. Why he is performing that duty? To set up an example. This is the verse which is there from Sveteshwara Upanishad, which is 7 and 8. Tam Ishwaranam Paramam Maheshwaram Tam Devatanam Paramam Cha Daivatam Patim Patinam Paramam Prasata Vidama Devam Bhuvaneshwam Idyam Natasya Karyam Karanam Cha Vidyate. Very similar. I don't have any karya assigned to me. न तत्समाचाभयादिकाश्च दृश्यते पारस्या शक्तिर्विविधैव श्रूयते स्वाभाविका ज्ञानबालक्रिय च. There was one time a speaker was giving a class, and he said in Hindi, he said भगवान सो भी रहे हैं और काम भी हो रहा है, which means the Lord is sleeping also, at the same time work is happening. How many of us can get the work done while we are sleeping? Any great souls here? While you're sleeping, there is some other work is also being done. When we sleep, we sleep. We don't produce a single thing which is useful when we are sleeping, except we just rejuvenate our health. So we can do only one thing while we are sleeping. But here, Mahavishnu is lying in Karnadakshay ocean, creating multiple universes. Can you imagine? Creation. And this is such a perfect creation. Such a perfect universe is being created. And every universe has sun god. Have you seen any universe? Oh, Lord Vishnu forgot to put the sun in that. Oh, there is no Bhumi in this universe. No, you don't see that. Tomorrow actually is the appearance day of Sri Advaita Acharya. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came with many associates, but out of them, the four were primary associates. First is Lord Krishna Chaitanya. His name is Krishna Chaitanya because he is Krishna, and Srimati Radharani combined. Then Nityananda Prabhu, who is Balram himself. Let me show the picture. Do you see PowerPoint or do you see Chrome? I think,
Papan.
yeah. Can you see it now?
Yeah.
This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the center, who is combined incarnation of Krishna and Srimati Radharani. On his my left and your right, or I don't know, is it your, yeah, the blue personality wearing blue. He is Lord Nityananda. Lord Nityananda, he is Balramji. Krishna never comes without Balramji. In Lord Ram's incarnation, he came with Lakshman. In Krishna's incarnation, he came as Balram. And in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's incarnation, he appeared as Lord Nityananda, whose appearance day or whose birthday is coming on coming Friday. He is a Guru Tattva. Any Guru in this entire cosmic manifestation, Lord Nityananda is the Param Guru of all of them. And to his rightmost, the elderly personality is Advaita Acharya, who is Mahavishnu. We were just seeing how he is creation, how he is creating the entire cosmic manifestation. That is his power. He appeared as the devotee to show an example. He is the one. He actually appeared first and he prayed sincerely, seeing so much nonsense going in the Kali Yuga. He appeared just more around 500 years ago. And he actually called out, offering Tulsi and Ganga water to Govardhan Shila. My dear Lord, please appear. Because Lord Chaitanya is the only incarnation who gives you a direct path, who gives you a direct entrance to the highest abode where Krishna lived, called as Golok Vrindavan. And he gives you a path to get there, a shortcut path. So he said, my dear Lord, I can liberate people, but that's not what I want to give, because liberation is not going to bring them to highest abode. They may be get out of cycle of birth and death, but I want to let them experience the highest love called as prema. And that's why I'm requesting you to please, please, please come in this material world. And Lord Chaitanya came along with his associate Nityananda Prabhu. And who is on the right is Gadadhar, who is actually the personality representing Srimati Radharani only, and Srivas Thakur, who is actually incarnation of Narada Muni. And their only single intention in this avatar is to give Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to anyone and everyone, give them the highest love to actually come to Krishna. This is their contribution, and this is tomorrow is actually the appearance day of Srila Advaita Acharya. Very powerful. Let's offer a sincere prayer from bottom of our heart. My dear Sri Advaita Acharya, you are Mahavishnu. What can't you do when you can create universes even while sleeping? I am sleeping in the lap of Maya, not realizing what is the true purpose of my life. I've been just going from one birth to another body, another body, and being circulated in 84 lakh species of life. My dear Lord, please help me that I perfect my life in this lifetime by following the mission, by following the process with Lord Chaitanya and attain that most sublime abode of Golok Vrindavan, so that I don't have to struggle with these these miseries created by body and mind, miseries created by other living entity, miseries caused by these natural calamities, and I develop that love of God, and that is what I'm hankering for. Please bless me. We should sincerely pray, because these days are very, very special. We may not realize the intensity, we may not realize what this material world is yet to offer us. Unfortunately, in my situation, it happened so for so long that I understand this material world has nothing to offer than just suffering. But one has to really take shelter of them. Right? Any questions or comments so far?
We talk about the rebirths and reincarnation and prarabdha karma and all that, right?
Mm. Mm.
So Yeah, the material life is of suffering, but also it is the lessons for the soul to learn, so that
Yes.
it goes through that stages of learning and then attaining moksha. So I think all the sufferings that we call about, I think we need to look at it as what is that we are learning from that, or what is a positive, what should we learn, so that
Mm.
we move forward in a positive way.
Very good point, Manaji. But I have one question for all of you. How long do you want to learn? How do you want to suffer? How many mistakes we want to do from which we want to learn? And do we know that we will remember that in next lifetime? What do you say for that? When I have a question, every day I have to struggle for two meals. One day I get it here. I understand. One day I go to this house, that house. I know this area will not give me. Then I go to another area. Oh, now this area gives me food. From tomorrow onwards, I'll come to that area. The third day you also get. Fourth day you also get food. Great. I'm getting the food. But is that the purpose of life? Is to just making mistakes and learn from it? It's nice. I'm not denying about that. But imagine if there is a 50 course meal or 50 course menu awaiting for us every day, every meal, and I know it is there. Why do I want to struggle and learn the experience from that? There are four classes of learning. The first class of learning is you heard it and you understood, I will not do it. And I gave an example which Nitya Mataji was asking, that father drank, I will not drink. I heard it. Drinking is not good. First example of learning. Second example of learning. I will hear, but I want to see it myself. That is a second class of learning. I heard, now I saw it, I will not do it. Better. Third class of learning. I heard it, I saw it, but I want to experience it. It may not happen to me. Okay, this guy keeps talking about this world is full of suffering because he went through his personal life. It will not happen to me. At least I was thinking that way, to be honest. But this will not happen to me. Not even in my dreams I ever thought what I and my family went through. Though I have seen, I have heard so many examples around me in scriptures where they went through the tough life. But I'm like, no, this won't happen to me. That's the third class of learning. We're still okay. The fourth class of learning. I heard it, I saw it, I experienced it, but I still want to do it. That's the fourth class of learning. I'm learning. Trust me, don't think what we have gone through is this is the first time happening to us. This happened hundreds and thousands of times with us in multiple lifetimes. But we want to still see, no, I will learn it in this life. And that is a problem. We have to get out of it. And I know I played this video. I will again play that. And this shows this example. Just give me 1 second. I'm going back to the finder and I will open that. Give me 1 second, okay? Ha. Can you all see my video?
Yes.
Okay.
Halfway through, Prabhu. Oh
Ha.
no, no, I can now.
That window is like that only. I'm sorry. Please forgive me about that. It's not a full video. It's just that pixel. You can see it, right?
Yeah.
When
Yes.
I You have seen it, but again connecting back to this point because it's a very important point. Let me know if you can't hear the audio.
नाम बताइए।
अर्जुन अर्जुन मेहता। मैं मर गया हूँ क्या?
जी हाँ, ट्यूसडे 6:43 PM, हार्ट अटैक। कॉन्ग्रेचुलेशन।
Congratulations.
हाँ भाई साहब, सभी मरते हैं। बस एक छोटा सा फीडबैक फॉर्म भर दीजिए, प्रक्रिया है। हाउ वाज योर स्टे?
Stay
लाइफ। हाँ, मतलब ओवरऑल एक्सपीरियंस कैसा रहा? 1 से 5 के बीच में रेट कीजिए। 1 मतलब ट्रॉमेटिक और 5 मतलब वुड रिकमेंड टू अदर्स। हाँ, जल्दी जल्दी कीजिए प्लीज।
So one question for all of you. I'm going to pause the video in between. If you are the one on the other side to fill in that form, what would you fill in? 5? Anyone here? 5?
No, Prabhu.
Okay.
1
Anyone
or
else?
2 maybe.
Okay.
I'll fill in. I'll fill in as I had a good time learning Gita.
But the question is, will I recommend this lifetime to the other person saying that, yeah, this is great, you should go through that? So the
No.
question is out of 1 to 5, what will you rank?
Hmm.
Momita Mataji said 1. How about you, Supriya Mataji and Raswami Prabhu?
I say 2.5.
I like that, 0.5. How about you, Supriya Mataji?
I don't know. I'm just thinking about
No problem.
how was
Mataji,
the stay.
what is your score?
Yeah, maybe 2 or 3.
Amazing. You guys are really matured this thing. I will play the video now and we'll move forward.
एवरेज, बिल्कुल तुम्हारी चॉइसेस की तरह।
What did you choose? Average. Most of us 2.5 or 3. And what we do in our life is also 2.5 or 3. We don't have a choice actually. Most of the time, we are limited by choices what we make based on the circumstances. I'll play the video.
सर, लाइफ इतनी आसान नहीं होती नीचे। चॉइसेस लेने से पहले दूसरों के बारे में सोचना पड़ता है हमें। क्यों?
तुम्हारी रिपीटेड कंप्लेंट्स की लिस्ट आ गई। बॉस टॉक्सिक, सैलरी कम, ट्रैफिक ज्यादा, स्पेस कम, रेंट ज्यादा। बड़े अजीब आदमी हो भाई साहब। पूरी जिंदगी लंबी उम्र की दुआ करते हैं और आधा दिन फोन में बिता देते हैं ताकि टाइम जल्दी बीत जाए। बाकी आधा टाइम तो आप बॉस को कोसते रहते हो।
अरे तो वो था ही नीच आदमी।
नहीं, तुम्हारे बॉस नहीं, हमारे बॉस, तुम्हारे भगवान।
तो उन्होंने कौन सा अच्छा किया मेरे साथ आज तक? नहीं, आप बताइए, why do bad things happen to good people?
गुड पीपल। गुड पीपल कौन कौन थे, जरा नाम बताइए।
I mean generally.
हाँ, सब जनरली अच्छे होते हैं, लेकिन पर्सनली थोड़े कन्वीनियंट हो जाते हैं ना।
सर, ये क्या पॉइंट है सबका? क्या चाहते हो आप मेरे साथ?
देखिए, आपके फीडबैक से तय होगा कि आपको मोक्ष मिलना चाहिए या रीबर्थ। देखिए, ये फॉर्म तय करेगा कि आपको मोक्ष मिलना चाहिए या रीबर्थ।
सर, मोक्ष नहीं चाहिए मुझे बस प्लीज एक बार और वापस भेज दो।
सबको लगता है कि अगला जन्म बेस्ट वर्जन होगा, कोई करंट वर्जन को अपडेट करने की कोशिश ही नहीं करता। तुम्हारा बर्थ तुम्हारा चॉइस नहीं था, तुम्हारा डेथ तुम्हारा चॉइस नहीं था। क्या तुम्हारी लाइफ तुम्हारी चॉइस थी?
हाँ, मतलब और किसकी चॉइस होगी सर? क्या बेचू का सवाल है?
ठीक है, अभी पता करते हैं। स्कूल,
पेरेंट्स,
कॉलेज,
जितने नंबर आए उसके हिसाब से,
करियर,
जहाँ बाकी सारे दोस्त गए,
ऑब्वियसली, मैरिज,
जिस पे सब राजी थे,
बच्चे,
सही टाइम पे,
घर,
बजट के हिसाब से,
सिटी,
नौकरी के हिसाब से,
खुशी,
जब सब खुश थे।
हॉबी, हॉबी भाई साहब, हॉबी, सपने, ओपिनियन, आइडेंटिटी, टूथपेस्ट, रिंगटोन, चड्डी भाई साहब, चड्डी, प्रिंटेश्वर, एनालिसिस।
सर, लगता है आप बहुत टाइम से हुए आप में। नीचे सब ऐसे ही जीते हैं।
हर बार सेफ ऑप्शन। ये लाइफ चॉइस की नहीं थी, स्पॉट वेस्टेड, केस
नहीं
प्रूफ।
सर प्लीज एक बार मुझे वापस भेज दो, बस वन लास्ट टाइम।
क्यों?
सर आफ्टर अ पॉइंट कोई नहीं जीता है, सब सिर्फ सर्वाइव करते हैं। लेकिन मैं जीऊंगा इस बार, आई प्रॉमिस। अपने लिए जीऊंगा, सब कुछ अपनी शर्तों पे करूंगा, किसी और के लिए कुछ नहीं। सारी गलतियां, सारे फैसले मेरे होंगे, आई प्रॉमिस। बस एक बार और भेज दो मुझे प्लीज।
तुम्हें ये कैसे पता कि तुम ये पहली बार नहीं बोल? तुम हर जन्म यही कहते हो, नेक्स्ट टाइम आई लिव बाय माय चॉइस।
This is the same situation. This is where I wanted to get into this video. So many lifetimes we have spent thinking I will not do this again. I learnt my lesson. Again, same thing. Because we don't carry forward our material learnings in the next life. And what is the conclusion? Spot wasted. Start all over again. It's nice to be optimistic about life. I'm not denying about that part. I'm not asking you to become pessimistic about life. But what is a true optimism here is what I'm trying to bring in. The true optimism is that there is a spiritual abode full of bliss, full of love and affection, full of happiness awaiting for me. Why should I let my spot wasted? Why not perfect it and get out of it? No more mistakes again. And become any of the first four class of learning or three classes of learning rather than becoming a fourth class of learner. That is what I want to actually speak about. Long answer, but trust me, sharing from my heart, sharing from my own experience, sharing for my own realization of what life is all about. Some of us may not be able to perceive that because somehow may not have seen the intensity of what life has to offer. But that does not mean like I was being a stupid that it will not happen to me. We think that it will not happen to any of us. And that's the brutal reality of this world. So that's what I wanted to cover today. We will cover 3.24 briefly next week and we'll start from there. Any comments or reflection before we get into chanting?
Prabhu, so we got a human life, this life. So that's the whole crux of the story. We should work and sincerely follow the scriptures, learn from the mistakes, and keep moving to the positive outcomes from here to uh, follow the acharyas and all the Vedas and Bhagavad Gita. Learn, um, learn from the others and get out from this death and
Yes.
birth.
I realize there are 6 sessions which we are actually conducting in Ann Arbor. I gave a class last week. If God is one, why do we have so many religions? It was an eye opener for myself, understanding what has been given to us compared to what other people have gotten. An unfortunate reality is that, like a touchstone is given to a washerman, he will think that as a regular stone and actually use that for washing the clothes. And that is unfortunately our situation. A human form of life is given to actually get out of a cycle of birth and death and attain the love of Godhead. But if we use that, decorating the clothes, washing them nice, being spot free without mistakes, that is still spot wasted.
Prabhu, I do have one question.
Please.
In this time of this chaotic world, I have seen even so many Vaishnavas getting hate related crime
Yeah.
from the other other people. So being being as a human, like I understand we should not even talk about all that, but if you see something in front of your eyes, what to do at that matter?
Multiple things. One is, if you have ability to control things, you should do that.
Like if
If
it is in front of the mob or something, we try to stand up but it's not be able to possible, like then how to correct in that matter?
you accept it, because at the end of the day, if you're not able to contribute, if you're not able to help, you can escalate it. Even after escalation, it doesn't happen, you try your best, but ultimately if it's not working, even after that, you pray for that soul, and you understand, I don't want to fall into that victim. If someone gets the cancer, you help them to get away with that, but if they are not able to, you understand, I don't want to get that disease, and what is needed for that to